So the Cape Summer Racing Festival is finally upon us. It all builds up to the 7 high-quality race days coming your way from Hollywood Bets Kenilworth throughout the summer, starting on Sunday, the 26th of November, with the Cape Punters Cup being the main highlight, but plenty of other big races to look forward to, and a few that are going to be building towards big races as the season goes on. It's a great pleasure to welcome you from Hollywood Bets Kenilworth, and for those that are making their way here on Sunday, get you nice and early, and you'll really appreciate the efforts that have gone into Hollywood Bets Kenilworth. We haven't been here since late July, but I can promise you will be impressed. And as our chairman, Greg Board, said in a video that was disseminated through the week, no, we're not quite done yet, but you will be blown away with what you see, and I think you'll get a good vision into the future. Joined by two guests who have come to Hollywood Bets Kenilworth for the first time since July. It's a great honor to welcome both Kurt Felix and Louis Odwa. Let's just start with Kurt. First time that you've been here, but obviously you're going to be wearing a lot of hats over the next 25 minutes or so with golf, racing club, syndication, etc. But also, big guns now starting to step up. Nice to see you, Kurt, and thanks for coming.
Thanks, Harry.
And Louis, your first time here at Hollywood Bets Kenilworth in a number of months, on your way from ground floor to level 4 where we were recording this. Were you impressed with what you saw?
Listen, all I can tell you, Alistair, I haven't seen anything like this. I haven't been in other floors, but just the ground from the parade ring and seeing it on the other side and looking to go close to the course. I mean, it just looks amazing, and it's not even done yet, so I can only imagine what's coming.
Yeah, it's going to really be special indeed. Right, let's go through it. Starting off with race number 1 on the card. This is the Futurity Plate. This will be the second juvenile race to run in South Africa this season, the first in the Cape, all first-timers, so we don't have much of a clue. It's not part of the exotics. It's an 800-meter race, but judging by the genetics on offer, looks like we could be in for quite a hot start to the juvenile season. Kurt, I'll start with you. Have you heard anything about what's going on?
Look, Eddie, you've always got to follow the stables that produce early, the likes of Vaughan, Marshall, Glenn Cotson. You haven't heard too much really, but Vaughan's expecting his two to run well. Glenn, you're always going to be bullish about his chances. And Gareth Frenzel's another trainer to watch out for.
Yeah, of course, he won the first juvenile race here last season with Miss Hannigan. Louis, I know you don't have a ride in the race, and I'm not going to pick your brain about too many races that you're not riding in, but is there any word on the ground and any work that you've done, any stables perhaps expecting fireworks early doors, or nothing that you know of?
Yeah, you always hear Justin. Well, I certainly hear Justin every morning, telling me about watch out for this one, watch out for this one. But in any case, obviously, you got to look at the stable elites as well. You look at Grant. He's on a quite an expensive, juvenile. You never know. It's a water winter. Could be quick. Also going on what Kurt says as well. You got to look at the yards that normally produce early. Glenn is right. Glenn normally produces early as well with the 2-year-olds. Normally does very well with them. And Mr. Marshall is a master with the 2-year-olds. And if he says he thinks he's also run well, definitely one of the horses to watch out for. And I mean, Gareth is also having he's having a great Cape season so far. So also quite a nicely bred horse. So you gotta watch out for those things. And obviously you don't have a ride in the race. I don't mind at all. To be honest with you, with so much going on at Kenilworth, it could be tricky for the babies as well. They could be green and seeing things around just can catch them out.
Yeah, I think that's also a very valuable point that Louis brings up with all that's going on and being in this type of environment for the first time. So just watch the betting come race number 1, which runs at 12:20 on the Sunday. The bar pot begins in race number 2 on the card. That's the Schweppes Summer Bowl, which was won last year by Make It Snappy, who obviously went forward from here to win the World Sports Betting Cape Fillies Guineas, and also ended up starting favourite in the Cape Met, and also picking up the victory in the Paddock Stakes along the way. Race runs at 5-1. And here we have a small field going to post. Louis doesn't have a ride, so I'll go straight to Kurt. Any inklings, any potential Make It Snappies waiting around here?
Oh, I mean, like last year, Ali, there's going to be a few fillies having preps for future races. But the class filly in the race is obviously Golden Hostess, and you would expect her to go close. A filly like Enemy Cherokee, Louis would probably be able to give us a bit more insight into her as to how good she is, or how classy they think she is, because I know this is a big step up in class for her, but I don't know if she's a Make It Snappy, but she's carrying very low weights and could potentially upset.
Yeah, the ride that Make It Snappy took you on from this meeting until winning on King's Plate Day, Lomaral King's Plate Day, was quite a ride. Any comments on enemy territory? I know that you're not riding her, you can't do the weight, but how good is she?
Now listen, I think she's quite a decent filly. She's very well bred filly. My mother was very, very good with the way she's carrying, and she's just borrowing on her physique and seeing that she's loving being taken on further with the distance wise. I think she could be anything this filly. At the moment she's improving very well. Which with each and every run. So I think she'll be a big runner. But looking at a filly like Royals, I know she's a 3-year-old, but that's what Mickey Snappy done last year. She was a 3-year-old carrying bottom weight, and she beat the older girls properly. So you gotta watch the weight. Golden Horse is another class filly in the race, but when if it's a true run race, the weight might just catch her out, and so I would watch out for the lightweights in a race like this.
Yeah, it might be a small field, but quite a few in there with chances in race number 2. Race 3 begins the place accumulator at 1:30. It's the VHM Racing Syndicate Class 4 that, of course, Vaughan Marshall recently launched his syndicate here in the Cape, and it's the first leg of the place accumulator, as mentioned. It's a big field. It's going to go straight to Louis because he's got the ride here on number 6, Willie John, who looks progressive. He's a good-looking horse. Did he spring up, though, winning his maiden as early as that last time, or was it expected that he had come on at that rate?
I thought he would win first time out. He's a type of horse that that gave me that type of feel. He's always shown a lot at home. He's smashing looking horse, as you mentioned. So I was disappointed the way he ran first time out, but also barring that the ears of William was a bit too short for him, and he was drawn badly. So Brett gave me all the like why he didn't run as expected till I was away. His second one, Craig Zaki came back to me, said to me, listen, he was still a bit green, but you should pick him next time. And I must say, Craig was right. Even though when I worked in my room, I told Brett just maybe just look at gelding and everything like that. But when I canted down to the start, it's a total different horse on the grass. So with no doubt, Brett had 2 misses in the race. I said to him, I'll definitely ride that horse. I think he's a horse to look out for. He's a horse with a bit of a bright future. So yeah, hopefully he can keep improving. He is a horse that feels like he can keep improving, and he's got a half decent draw on the day. There's some nice horses in the race, but he'll definitely run well.
First runner Hollywood Bets Kenilworth, just looking at him, looks like he'd appreciate this course a little bit more than the country course up the road.
100%. He's a nice size horse, so the longer straight definitely might suit him. I can just bide my time now, do some pace work down the straight, and hopefully can pick them off. I'm not saying it's a weak field. It's definitely an open field. There's some older horses getting weight from the 3-year-olds, which I think they might just test the 3-year-olds. But yeah, as you say, it's a nice course to actually get a feel on your horses and see and know where you are with the horses and for the future.
Kurt, it's open. Can you narrow it down at all?
No, Ali, and it is a very open class for a horse like No Apologies. I think will be better suited back at Kenilworth. But no, very, very open class 4. Yeah. And you've got to go wide. Yeah.
First leg of the Pick 6 is race number 4. It runs at 2:05. Hashtag Destination Cape Racing. Class 3, they go 1,400 meters. Again, quite a few horses to work our way through the dynamic of 3-year-olds against older horses. Just going to quickly start with Louis. He doesn't have a ride, but there is Zil Maurice from your yard, from Brett Crawford's yard. Any reason why you're not riding him?
And there's a possibility that he'll run in the Guineas. So they said to me, it would be ideal for Kabla to ride him now and catch a feel on him, and if he does run in the Guineas, so because he'll ride him and I'll ride something else. So it's an ideal option to let him ride him now and ride him in the Guineas. But in saying that, he is a nice horse. I mean, he proved it to me when he ran in a Langerman here at Kenilworth. He ran a very good race. A little bit unlucky, couldn't get a run done in the middle. I mean, in the inside. But he's a nice horse. I think he'll make his presence felt.
Kurt, what's your reading of the first leg of the Pick 6? Again, it looks like we might need horses. Can you help us?
Yeah, I think you probably do have to go a bit wide. Ali, Zil Maurice is probably going to be my first choice. I think he'll be cherry ripe, third run after a rest. I also did want to ask the question as to why Louis wasn't riding the horse, but that makes perfect sense now. Blackberry Malt looks like he's back to his best, although winning at Fairview last time was a good win. Was like Steinbeck, also 1,400. Probably going to be the ideal chip. Grant Van Niekerk Cup, Stable Elect Jock, and Teflon Man. Could be a bit of a question mark for 1,400, as all of his runs have been over the sprinting trip. But draw 1, Craig Zaki up. I think he's a big runner too.
To say note of the scratching, the early scratching at number 10, Sell to the Moon, sadly not running in race number 4. He would have been a very interesting prospect leading up to Tail of the Comet later on in the card. Right, race number 5 is the start of the first jackpot. Race Cape, powered by Hollywood Bets. Class 4 gets underway at 14:40. It's a 1,200-meter race. And here, Louis got the rounder number 4, Big Unit, who's exactly that, the son of Master of My Fate. Probably quicker delivery in terms of him versus Willie John. That Willie John didn't show much in his first 2 starts. Big Unit, nothing run 1, lot more run 2, win and run 3. How's his progress?
No, he's not a big unit, actually. You know, he couldn't be, but he's actually quite a short horse. But he's got a big girth.
Yes.
He's got a big girth in him. He's obviously, he would have improved quicker than Willie John, because Willie John is a much bigger horse than him. So just to take the condition out of him takes 1 or 2 runs, you know, to get chair up. But Big Unit is, he's quite a quick horse. He's quite progressive. I just don't know how good he is yet. You know, he only just won his maiden, and he was quite green in his third start. More green than his second start, if I should say. But he's doing very well at home. I think he'll run well. I picked him because I thought he's quite a speedy horse. It's got a bit of scope on him. You know, there's other stable elects in the race that I didn't pick because I just thought like Blizzard. The horse like Blizzard doesn't run for like a year, so I thought he might just need a run, and he obviously needs further. And what's the other horse? Grand Bay.
Yep.
Grand Bay looks like he just has lost his form a little bit. He just lost his way. Then Oriental Charm, he won first time out, but I didn't think he beat much on first time out. Second start, when I rode him, he just hung a little bit, didn't quite raise a gallop with me. And last start, he probably got a bump, so he didn't have his way as well. But I mean, there's other horses in the race that I would pick, like Winter Pearl. There's older horses that, that can give him a hard time. They're young horses, they're still learning. They gotta get strong enough, and Kellen went to the testing 1,200. So they gotta just really like pick up their socks to show.
Just quickly, we're expecting weather to be perfect on Sunday at Hollywood Bets Kenilworth. Down the straight, do you want to see a low number draw, high number draw, or doesn't it really matter in your life down the straight?
The last time we raced on this track, it was really heavy. So we did a lot of damage on the track. I don't know how's the track now. If the track is...
Look at it, it looks all right. Great.
I haven't looked at it yet. But I mean, if the track is back to south, like how we know the normal Kenilworth, then it'll definitely favor the middle to the inside. That's how we normally race. Yeah, that's normally how it is. So you don't want to be drawn... you also don't want to be drawn on the inside, because then the guys will come on the outside and come swallow you up if you don't have horse with pace, and then you get stuck for a run and things like that. And it also depends on the weather, they like tailwind or headwind and things like that, and how fast the track running. But if you're drawn in the middle, then you can suss your race out quite nicely. You know what's your surroundings, you know your jockeys, you know what's gonna do what. So yeah, in terms of draws, you don't really want to be drawn on the outside. If you don't have a horse with pace, then you want to give starts, things like that. Especially when a young horse, you want to give him too much to make up to the older horses. Giving weight, you can't give weight and give starts. It just doesn't work.
Jeez, Louis gone to the well there, Kurt. Has that helped you at all for race 5?
You just make things more confusing.
Sorry.
No, but I think it's another open race, but the 2 horses that we didn't touch on. Coastal Commander back to 1,200 meters. I think that will suit him. He looks like he's more of a sprinter than a 1,400, 1,600 meter horse. You got the benefit of Richard Free up. And then the horse over the page, Savanchix, drawn widest of all last time at Durbanville. I don't think that suited him at all. Back Kenilworth up the straights. I think everything that will suit him. And if there's a good headwind blowing on the day, I think you'll come off them, and that should do the trick for him.
Now we move on to the features. This might not be a stakes race, the Bantry Bay Stakes, over 1,100 meters, but we've got a few Grade 1 winners in here in the form of Rio Quarari, Thunderstruck and Tempting Fate, all Grade 1 winners throughout their careers, and undoubtedly quite a few here will be targeting quite a few races, potentially the Cape Merchants, which is the 3rd meeting of the festival here on Sunday, the 10th of December. But as for the Bantry Bay Stakes, Kurt, I'll start with you. It screams a race where horses are prepping.
Well, unlike last year, Ali, we had a lot of horses that were prepping for miles and 10 furlong races. Whereas this year, we've got a lot of classy sprinters, which is nice to see. But saying that, they probably are still prepping for other sprints throughout the year. But packed with class and classy sprinters, like you say. Thunderstruck, Rio Quarari, Bereave, Sergey, We're Jamming, all time class sprinters. But my narrow first selection has to be Thunderstruck. He bumps 2 classy sprinters last year, Give Me a Prince and Sivungu Vungu. And if he reproduces those 2 runs, I would imagine he's very, very hard to beat. And last time out, pumping main defender over the 1450, probably just too far from. I'm making a nice external horse back to the or 1100 on Sunday, but back to the sprinting trip I'm making, especially with Richard.
Now we've got Sergio, Louis. He's becoming a little bit of a nearly man. Do you think he can break through this season? How do you think he'll go on Sunday?
Yeah, he's doing very well at home. Obviously after a layoff, it's never easy coming back and bumping into a field like this. Unfortunately, with a rating like that, there's not many options you have. You can run in races like that. But he was nearly beaten by Thunderstruck at Scottsville. We were heads up, heads down. It was just a matter of heads up, heads down. And Give Me a Prince come and beat us, which is a classy horse. Again, we met at Greyville. I just beat Thunderstruck, heads up, heads down again. So they've been running according to form. We had to meet Sivungu. You can't. It's difficult to beat that.
Yes.
He's doing so well. Obviously, my first pick will be Thunderstruck. Barring that he's had a run this season. And as Kurt says, he met a very good horse. And distance not suited for him. I think also he's a 6 furlong horse. This might be 100 meters short for him, but at 1200 at Kenilworth, it's quite testing. So if you can run a 1200 anywhere else, you can run a 1100 at Kenilworth. So yeah, it's a tough field. Rio Kararis, it's one of the best sprinters in the country. Will bereave, those type of horses. And Sergio might just need it. He's carrying 62 on his back. Also like a horse like Mufasa, he's done nothing wrong. He's an upcoming, sprinter. He had a long layoff. Since he's been back, he's never looked back. So I'm not gonna. Don't want it to sound like I'm picking on the steel, but I'm just picking on some horses like that. It's quite a strong field. As Kurt mentioned as well, it might be a prep for most horses. So definitely a prep for my horse. I think he'll run well, but he might just need the run.
With Mufasa, I'm making an out-and-out 5 furlong horse, and even though he's won in 1100, do you think at this level he could win an 1100?
It could win in 1100, just barring that most horses are coming back, from layoffs and using this type of race as a prep. He's a nice horse. Obviously, it's a big stepping class. But yeah, that's what I think.
They should make him with chance, Mufasa. I think there are quite a few in there with chance. In fact, I like Rio Kwarari back home at Hollywood Bets Kenilworth. I think that he could end up coming out on top, especially the fact that he's had 2 runs already this season at Hollywood Bets Durbanville. Now we move on to race number 7, the City of Cape Town Sophomore Sprint. They go 1,200 meters. This will be off at 10 to 4, and a field of 10 face the starter. Louis rides Jerusalem Rain, a horse that you'll know from Joburg when with Ashley Fortune. Was he a really forward 2-year-old? What happened last time? There are a lot of questions that need to be asked. Have you sat on him? Any clues from your side?
No, he was actually it didn't feel like a forward 2-year-old when I rode him in Joburg. He was like quite a tall, leggy horse. I was actually shocked that he was sprinting, doing so well in sprint. He felt like a horse that actually will go a mile eventually. I remember when I got off, I said to Ashley and they should run him in a 1600 at Greyville. I think that'll be a perfect race. Skip the 1200 at Scottsville and just run him straight in the 1600. And obviously, he met very good horses. His next 2 starts. I think he's a very nice horse. Last time, I cannot tell you what happened last time. The only thing I can maybe pinpoint is that Durbanville definitely a track that could never suit him. Durbanville at the moment is running very quick. As I said, he's a tall horse, so maybe they just out-sprinted him. He never got comfortable, never got to get a breather and actually be comfortable and run on. Kenilworth will definitely suit him. I think it's a long straight. It's 1200, but the 1200 it's normally run as a 14 kind of race. So it'll definitely suit him if he's back to himself. I think he will be the horse to beat on his previous form, main defender and Sandringham Forest. There's other horses. Outlooking, he's a nice horse. There's other horses in the race that'll do well, but I haven't sat on him. Hopefully he's back to himself. If he's back to himself, he'll definitely be one of the horses to beat.
What about Ready to Charge, Kurt? From the Yazzie yard, obviously Mark and Adam Yazzie have had a couple of winners already during this Cape summer season. What do you make of his chances going into this race?
Yeah, Ali, there's a lot of interwoven form line, as he always is coming into the 3-year-old races from the 2-year-old season. if he's fitting well, I make him the one to beat, and I make him very hard to beat. He gets that 3 kgs in that Outlaw King race. That run last time, drawn 10 out of 14 on the Turpentine inside course. I mean, you know how hard it is to win from that draw on the inside track at Turpentine. Over a trip that, in my opinion, is too far for him. I make him a 1,200 meter horse, or even a sprinter. And back to a 1,200 meter trip, I make him very hard to beat. And that form from that spring challenge race is exceptionally strong. I mean, William Robertson finished a bit behind him, and he's won 2 since. My defenders come out and won again. And obviously he's running on Saturday, and he looks hard to beat there again too. So I make him very hard to beat. You got to consider Outlaw King. I mean, he's ultra consistent. Jerusalem Rain, if he reproduces 2-year-old form, his last run for me was just too bad to consider him now. And then the 2 over the page, Future Variety, back to a 1,200 meter race. I think that's what he's been crying out for. And Tenango, back to 1,200 again. I think 1,400 was probably a bit too far for him. And I make him a bit of a run at a big price.
Yep, so very, very interesting dynamics indeed. Let's go on to race number 8. This is the Grade 2 Cape Punters Cup, formerly known as the Selangor Cup. And this is the big precursor going into the Hollywood Bets Cape Guineas and potentially into the Splash Out Cape Derby at the end of the summer festival. And right now, it looks like the balance of power might be in Johannesburg among the 3-year-olds. But we'll certainly get a good gauge of which Cape horses will be carrying the flag going into the Hollywood Bets Cape Guineas. Now, this race runs at 4:25. It's a Grade 2 over 1,600 meters. And Kurt, I'm going to start off with you because there's a lot, we can spend a lot of time on this race. We obviously don't want to bore people to death with it. But who carries the flag right now in Cape Town? I mean, who in this race looks like potential Cape Punters Cup, Hollywood Bets Cape Guineas material?
Well, from the Cape Town gang, I mean, Christian, without a doubt, has been the most impressive 3-year-old. Having seen that, Tail of the Comet was ultra impressive last time. And I mean, I don't think the sale races are the strongest races. I don't think they bring the strongest form out of it. But having said that, he put that field speed very quickly, and it's a manner in which he won his race last time out that was ultra impressive. They've priced up already, and they've priced him up quite short. I think there's a lot of respect for Sean Terry and Taylor of the Comet, and the fact that Richard Ferree stuck with him says everything about him, because they're obviously going to be going into the Guineas. But excuse me, in my opinion, Questel has to be a horse that you got to respect, because his last win as well was very, very easy, and it was competitive field. It wasn't moderate horses at all.
Louis, Zumi, Drill 1. Weirdly, that race at Fairview, that Racehorse Owners Association Stakes, is a real champion maker. That Roll of Honour is unlike any other in this country. Horses that run second and third, or horses that run first and second, or tend to end up overseas and do big things, and those that stay behind do big things. So could he follow that trend?
Listen, I hope he does, because you're right. I mean, we've seen Glenn taking some horses there, and Justin taking horses for that race, specifically for that race, and they come back and they become, champions and good horses. We can name a whole lot of them. I'll tell you what, Alan's horse is a very nice horse, because I mean, I canted the whole race. I felt like I'll win as far as I can throw a stone. And the minute I challenged him, he just never stopped. I think that's a nice horse. I think my horse won a very good race, because it was a gutsy win. And Zumi's been better since gelding, and now it's going to be his 3rd run after gelding. He's got the plum draw. He's ultra consistent. You can't fault him. He's a trier. We just don't know how good he is yet as well, because he's just a horse that if you put him against anything, he'll win a good race. Does not do it on a bad race. But in saying that, it's a very, very competitive field. As Kurt mentioned, questioning it's the manner he does things. But now we are going to a longer straight, a mile. He's never been a mile before. But he is bred to go further. I mean, his family goes distance. So that shouldn't be a problem. But still got to go to the course and prove it. Tell Comet, the way he won, it was ultra impressive. Sean wouldn't bring a horse down like that with no plans, not knowing how good he is. Richard looked like he was playing with us last time when he won the race. Those 2 horses will definitely be my top 2, Questioning and Tell Comet. And it was the true. Justin's always said is one of his best horses, and if I'm gonna put him in, then I gotta put Zumi in as well. But you know, this is a race where I think this shouldn't be actually a group 2. This should be a group 1, because these horses are going to be running in a group 1. They're all going to be meeting each other again, and I think the draws are going to play a big difference, and the pace will make a big difference as well. But I want to go into that. But yeah, my first 3 will be questioning, Tell the Comet, Clue. Well, first 4. First 4, yeah.
And then also, I don't know if he can win a graded race over 1,400 meters or 1,600 meters, but I think number 7, Green with Envy, is a horse to watch this summer, especially when we get to the Splash Out Cape Derby in late February. Then on to the last at 5 o'clock, Hollywood Bet's Bright Future Cape B Stakes. They go 1,800 meters here, and well, we got the syndicate member of Gulf Racing Club and the jockey representing Gulf Racing Club on Sunday, Louis Otwa and Kurt Felix, with African Torrent. Let's start off with Kurt. What's the odds said about African Torrent?
Look, and he only arrived last week due to the African horse sickness protocols, but he's travelled well. Adam's very, very happy with the work that he's put up in Joburg, and we're expecting a good run. Very, very happy.
You happy with the jockey you got?
Well, I chose him, so we better be.
Are you happy with the ride you've got?
I'm definitely happy I'm happy for the ride. I think it's my first ride for Aussies. I've never actually had a ride for them. And listen, I'll tell you what. Every time I've seen an Aussie horse at the race course, they always turned out amazing. They always look so good. You know, their coats are shining. They look like they're in good spaces. I mean, they've done nothing wrong in Cape since they've come down for the Cape season. They've been doing very well. So hopefully they can just carry on with the good streak. And as Kurt says, the horse is doing well. I can only go on that. I don't know the horse. I've just sat on the horse. And we've got a good draw. It's distance suited. Yeah, just hoping for the best.
Horses that are in with a shout there, they look to be quite a few.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to take into consideration the turnaround and weights of that Natcham form. Sudden Song, he looked like he was going to go straight past Natcham that day, but you know, Natcham found another gear. 3 kgs turnaround and weights. Richard Faria retains the ride. He's got to be a big contender. Harajaku is a horse that I think back at Kenilworth, big contender. And I think the step up to 1,800 will suit him. I think he's been crying that for the trip. I think you've got to throw him in the mix.
Right, so that is a wrap. Enjoy your day, what's to come. Just leaves me to thank the guest. Louis, thank you very much for your time. Busy weekend ahead, but hopefully packed with lots of winners.
Yeah, listen, it's a busy weekend. Looking forward to it though. Now got some nice rides in PE, and also some decent horses in Joburg as well. Just grateful for the trainers for the support. And back here as well on Sunday. So hopefully, a few winners will pay the flight.
Brilliant. Kurt, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy, and all the best to African Torrent and the rest of your punts on Sunday.
Thanks very much, Harry. Good to be back at Hollywood Bet's Kenilworth.
Yep, and you're all invited. Hollywood Bet's Kenilworth on Sunday, start of the Cape Racing Summer Festival. It's going to be special. It's going to be out the top draw, and we're not even finished yet. Wait until this place is done. I promise you'll enjoy what you see. You'll be impressed with what you see. I think everyone will appreciate the efforts that have gone in, and all the touches, all the special features around this great race course will certainly catch your eye. Thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy your day on Sunday. I will chat again for day 2 of the Cape Racing Summer Festival, which will be the World Sports Betting Cape Fillies Guineas on Saturday, the 2nd of December.